Yo, what is going on YouTube? We have another sleeper anime for you. As always, the way this goes, we have the chapters to show you, so hopefully you're not going to get spoiled, or you can skip to where you want to go. But pretty much, we're going to be talking about Grimgar. In my opinion, one of the most slept on isekai animes ever. The first part of this, we're just going to be giving you the synopsis, why we like it, why you should possibly watch it. So if you haven't seen it, check out that part. If we can entice you to watch it, pause the video, go binge that shit, and then come back, because the second part is where we have spoilers, alright? That's where we're going to be talking about key scenes, and we're going to be spoiling a lot of it. We're going to be breaking down the anime. We're starting to do these videos a lot more, so if you want to know some sleeper anime, subscribe. We got a couple videos already, and
Oh
we're gonna be
yeah.
coming out with a lot more. Grimgar honestly was sick. So what Grimgar was about is pretty much Grimgar is an isekai, but it's not like other isekais. It's not like, oh, welcome to this world, here's your harem, your OP powers, send you on your way, have fun. This is kind of more what would actually happen if you got isekai'd. It isn't the best, they're dirt poor. They're in this world where they need to make money, and they're gonna do it by adventuring. And of course, they're not super strong. They need to learn how to kill these goblins, right? And goblins are always known as being the easiest of the mobs, right? But they struggle big time, even though there's multiple of them. And you start to realize too that they have to deal with emotionally killing something else. There's a lot of emotion, a lot of depth in this anime. It is very, very good. And the anime is pretty much about them surviving in a way, because I don't want to give spoilers, at least yet. It is pretty much kind of like a slice of life until you get farther into the anime and you kind of develop more of the story, because the story really has to deal with the connections and the relationships between each other. So it is really, really good. It's got action. It's got cool characters. They're very well designed, and it's a ton of depth. Where it's a character development. It's like the emotions of everything. It's very, very good. Very, very cool in my opinion, and that's why I love it, because it's not like a lot of the other isekais. And there's nothing wrong with that. We all love that anime with the OP powers and the harem. I mean, Eminence of the Shadow. Like, let's
True.
go. I fucking love that anime. But like, you know what I mean. But like having something a little bit different that really kind of like shows a different side to Isekai, I feel like is really, really cool, and that's Grimgar. And it's a shame. It's a shame. It's a crime that it is not getting a second season. But what would you like about Grimgar? Without going into spoilers yet.
Yeah, I was gonna say just to kind of like echo what you said. It's not like a traditional isekai in the fact, like you said, you have like crazy battles and abilities and stuff. It's more like realistic, which I thought
Mm-hmm.
was really cool. And I mean, you don't really get that in anime just because of like the fantasy aspect of it, but like very like down to earth and like relatable in a way. Because like you said, it's if you got isekai, you'd be screwed.
Yeah.
You'd be like, they don't have any money, like they have no armor and stuff, and they're trying to survive out here and get adjusted to like a totally different situation. And it really does a good job of focusing on like the dialogue and the relationships and kind of the struggles they face early on. And it kind of like ebbs and flows. The pacing is good, like it's not all fights, you know what I mean? There's like the scenes at the tavern and stuff where they're talking and getting drunk and stuff and running into other like volunteer soldiers. So like there was a lot of cool stuff in just the writing and the dialogue that I feel like you don't really always get, especially in isekais. Like it was pretty well thought out. And like you said, the character designs are cool. We get a lot of like cool moments with the characters. So I thought it was sick. I had no idea. I'm like, well, I asked you, I'm like, when did this come out? It's like 2016. It's like,
Yeah.
damn, this definitely was slept on, but a very, very good change of pace for sure.
Yeah, and it's a shame that again it's not getting a season two. It's not really known about at all, and it's very like accessible. It's on Crunchyroll, obviously, but also it's on Hulu. So even if you don't have Crunchyroll, or even if you're just trying to get someone into anime, it's a great anime to do because like it really shows the storytelling. To me, that's what really got me hooked on anime. Where I'm like, yo, shit, I did not know a cartoon could hit this goddamn hard, and it can. It really can, and I feel like it's something that's really going to surprise people and just it's really good. It's something I definitely recommend. It was recommended to me, and it's funny because when I asked my friend, I'm like, "Yo, I need some new anime. Like, what do you got?" I'm like, they're like, "What do you like?" I'm like, "Anything. I like everything." But like, you know what? I've been watching a lot of isekai recently. Don't recommend anything that's isekai. And they're like, they gave me a whole list, great animes, but they're like, "Here's an isekai one, but I think you're gonna like it." I'm like, "That's bold. That's bold."
Yeah.
So I watched it and I was like, "Yo, you fucking hit it right on the mark. Like that, that is sauce from the source. I mean, that is where it's at. Like that was a great pick. So I highly, highly, highly recommend this. Again, if you just want like I guess lighthearted fantasy aspect of anime, you're not gonna like it. You know what I mean? If you like just the very light, it's funny, it's OP, it's hot women, you know what I mean? Then again, you're not gonna like it. But if you do like a lot of different animes, you like different aspects of anime, different genres, different like the lighthearted stuff and the in-depth stuff, I think you are going to enjoy this because it is very, very good. Like I said, it's a different kind of isekai, but it's a solid isekai.
There's a lot of like hand drawn like aspects to the animation and the art, which I thought was cool. Like I don't know, it gives it like a warmer feel instead of like super sharp like high end modern stuff. Like I thought the art was really cool. Um, and like they did a good job of like kind of juggling. There's like a few like I don't know etchy scenes or whatever. Like they're not like really bad or like overdone.
Hmm.
And the characters do like have like intimate moments, but like they don't like force relationships on anybody or like dive too deep into that stuff. Like it's very, like I said, down to earth. But I thought that was cool and like they didn't force any of it, but you get a little bit of everything.
Yeah, so let's get into the spoilers. Let's dive deep here. First of all, I want to get into the kind of like the tavern type scenes. I thought that was sick. At first you kind of get the impression that they might be high schoolers, but then like, nah, these are probably more so college kids, which is interesting because like, we get typically in anime characters that look like college kids, but then like, oh no, like they're 16, right? But this one, like they look
Yeah,
younger, but they're actually older. They're out drinking. Based on some of the stuff that they were kind of talking about and saying, you kind of get the idea that they might be a tad older. So like seeing them at the tavern was like fucking dope because like the cool thing is, and then the thing is that they didn't like talk about more. This is like one of the biggest crimes, not just them getting not getting another season, but they did not talk about like their origin. They didn't talk about how they got there,
yeah,
who they are in their past life, kind of like what's going on. It's kind of like, oh, you're spawned here, have fun. And they didn't like dive deeper into that because one thing that kept being brought up was like someone would say something like, it's like, they'd bring up like their phone, right? And they're like, what's a phone? Like, what's a phone? He's like, I don't know. I just said it. And they're like, and that happened all the time. They even said that happened all the time between all of them, where like they would like subconsciously remember something from their past life, but then here in this world they don't understand it because they don't have it. You know what I mean? And that's when they start going to the tavern. They're like, oh, I like beer. I guess I like beer. I must have liked it in my past life. Because they go and they start drinking. They're like, oh, Minato said he likes beer. Maybe I like beer. And then he goes on drinks. He's like, oh, this is nice. You know what I mean? So like
it's
stuff like
pretty
that
good. Yeah.
was like really cool. But it's like, dude, I want to know more about that. Like, who brought them there? Why did they come there? What was the point? Who were they like in their past lives? They could have been fucking criminals for all we know. It could have been some experiment. You never know. You know what I mean? That's what I want to know more about. But when they start getting more into the tavern, that was sick because you see them drinking and you kind of see. I feel like you kind of see the real side of like what would happen if dudes were there. Like Monato
Yeah.
is the man, he dies, and then you see like that's when the boys just instantly start hitting the tavern all the time, and they're like depressed drinking.
Yeah.
They're just like fuck, like another long ass day, and they're all just slumped over. And you can tell as the anime progresses, they start drinking more and more and more. Before they have like a little beer, and now they have the pints and
A whole table's covered in like the one scene and they're like laying down on the table. Dude, I love that.
you see them like progress as alcoholics throughout the series as they get like more and more like shit happens to them and stuff, and it's like, oh, you feel for the boys, but like, dude, we've all fucking been there.
Hell yeah. Yeah, it makes you feel like you're almost part of their like their
Yeah,
party or their group. Like,
yeah,
you're seeing them, yeah, after Monato dies, they're all like super vulnerable emotionally and upset and like you get to kind of be there with those conversations and then as they introduce Mary and stuff, like kind of like trying to ease her in and like get her to open up a little bit and be herself. And then obviously once we get into her backstory, you kind of know why she is the way she is. But yeah, those tavern scenes were really great and like just kind of going back to what you said about we don't really get that much information about who they were, how they get there. I think overall, like it was fleshed out enough for like a season two,
oh,
and like there
absolutely,
was
yeah.
so much there that like you could have easily had enough content for season two. Like I don't know how much manga it has, but I guess yeah, it either got canceled or axed, but yeah, there was definitely enough there. I felt like we could have easily had a season two, so it's kind of disappointing, but yeah, it felt very like short and sweet.
What I'll kind of admit though is that like looking back on this anime, I can see how people will lose interest and not like it if it came out week to week. Because from a week to week standpoint, it probably
That's
did
fair.
feel slow as fuck. But when you're able to binge it, then it's like, oh, dude, thank you, let's eat up. You know what I mean?
That's a really good point. Like it was much easier to binge, you know what I mean? Like watch back to back because like it starts slow and then, once they start getting into battles and like, learning skills and getting equipment and earning money and stuff, it like picks up and then, there's like 2 or 3 episodes after Monato's death where they're like really like reeling emotionally. And it's like very slow. It's not that it's bad, but like I could definitely see how like 3 straight weeks of like not much action and a lot of dialogue, people would
Yeah,
drop it. It's
trying to
definitely one
kill
of
the
those that's
first
easier.
goblin.
Yeah,
That was
yeah.
the first
Like,
3 episodes.
yeah, it definitely starts slow. Like, it really ebbs and flows, like, kind of, up and down. And not that the down is bad, but yeah, I could definitely see how people would maybe drop it or come back to it once it's done.
Yeah, and before we move on from the tavern scenes, I gotta say, when Minato died in that one adventure, because like, they kind of split up, right? They, the strong kids kind of go off and form their own group, and then there's the rest of them. Like when that one kid came back and he's like, hey, I heard about Minato. Like, here's a coin. You know what I mean? Like, here's some money. Like, I'm sorry for your loss. That was fucking sick. Everything about that scene was sick because you typically in an isekai have those strong kids kind of be like, "Oh, you guys fucking suck. You're weak and poor," and like fucking spit on them and everything like that. But he's like, "Dude, like we're both human beings." You know what I mean? Like he made his own group and they went off and they're doing their own thing. But he's like, he comes back. He's like, "You guys lost a friend. We know what that's like. That sucks. So our condolences and like here's something to help out." And it was cool that they were kind of like, "No, like he wouldn't want that." Like that whole scene, everything about it, every aspect was fucking perfect. And that's what I think is so good about this anime is you have those scenes that are perfectly constructed, like mentally and emotionally. Like if you've been there, you fucking feel every ounce of that, and it's just like so good. It's just so fucking good.
Dude, really, really good point. That is a cool scene. And like everybody they meet, like the Orion guys,
Hmm.
they kind of touch on Mary's backstory. Well, they do, they give the backstory for her.
Yeah,
Um, I forget that guy's name. Like in the red, the archer from
yeah,
Fate looking guy. He's like super badass looking. He tries to like help them out and gives them like a gold piece. Everybody's like pretty kind to them. They know that they're, not the strongest. They're super broken and just trying to like grind it out. And they're all volunteers, so like they're trying to like do a good thing. And like I feel like that was well received. So it was kind of cool to see that camaraderie there. And they tried to be there for him as best they could when Monato first dies, because yeah, they were looking pretty down. They were hurting for sure.
yeah, dude. It's just like the relatability and like the feels with it. I mean, dude, again, I can't talk about it like every 5 seconds, but like, dude, yeah, just like the mental and emotional like maturity and like of the artist that like wrote this was just incredible. Like, it's just everything about it, and especially the scenes were perfect. We got to talk about Monato's death. That was that was something, dude. I mean, because like it was needed. It was needed. I fucking love Minato. I think that he was a
Yeah,
great character. I think all the characters are perfectly written, really, really awesome. But like Minato dying was like, oh shit. You know what I mean? It was like, oh, like,
big time.
like fuck. Like when he goes down too. Oh my god. I'm like, dude, he's not actually dead. Like, no, no shot. It's that kind of anime. And the way that they open that gate and they're like, yup, we'll do what the fuck we want. Like that was amazing because then you didn't know where this anime would go. I feel like this is an anime too that like you wouldn't think that someone would die, and they remind you pretty early on like, oh no, like people will die. People will die in this anime. I don't know how many more would die if they had more seasons, but having him die, I feel like it was like, oh wow, like this has consequences. This is real, and then it was massive to a lot of character development, a lot of the the emotional scenes and everything that kind of went with it, and kind of harped on that realistic side of it. You know what I mean? To think that, oh, if we got isekai and went to this world and now it's life and death and it's completely different from ours, oh, everyone would survive. Like no, like not everyone would.
Dude, you're 100% right. I feel like Monato's death allowed the other characters to grow, and especially Haruhiro, like
Mm-hmm.
felt like the main character. You know what I mean? Obviously, he has those scenes after Monato's death where he like meets with him at the grave, and when he can't sleep at night and stuff, and that like propels his growth forward and forces him to kind of be the leader and make some of these like harder decisions. But I definitely did not expect that either. Like the scene where that goblin's like pulling up the crossbow and aims
Yeah.
at him. You're like, I just figured he would, lose a leg or get shot in the arm or something. Like, I did not expect him to take it right in the back and literally die. Like that scene where they're like, all around him and stuff. Like, yeah, it definitely hits you in the feels. It's very emotional, and like you said it best. the assumption that everybody would, be successful and survive and be strong and stuff, it just isn't true. And
Yeah.
we all have our like strengths and weaknesses and stuff. And I thought it was cool. Horror Hero was like, I never really took the time to learn his flaws or his faults or whatever, because like you just depended on him. And they kind of go into that with Mary too, which I thought was cool. It makes his character feel full circle, and trying to put people in the best positions. And as Horror Hero struggles with being that leader, kind of, Minato will like talk with him and kind of bring him back, and he says he can't do it in the beginning, and by the end of it he's like, I don't even know if it was that hard. So like that was kind of cool to see. Even after his death, he like guides them, and he's like he's like a, I don't know what you want to say, like a positive force. They keep leaning on him even after he's dead.
Yeah, and like it created that like really cool like relationship and tension between him and Ranta. Because like that was so true where because like Ranta would be out with it, and it's like, dude, you're not fucking Minato, like shut the fuck up. Like stop pretending to be him,
Yeah.
stop mimicking him. You're not him. You know what I mean? And to see the hurt in Ranta, and also like then the conflict with the MC, because like it's like what else would you do? You had someone like Minato who was like perfect, right? The guy had no goddamn flaws. You just depended on him, like you said, just a perfect leader, and then you have to fill those shoes. That'd be so hard to do. Yeah, the first thing you do is try to mimic that guy, but that's not gonna make you a good leader. And then it created that tension between him and Ranta, and it was just like so good and like such an insane thing for character development because it made it such a rocky start. It wasn't just straight up growth. It was such like struggle and confusion in the beginning and trying to like find who he is as a leader, which I thought made for like just some really good scenes again. You know what I mean? It was just like a really cool aspect.
Yeah, dude, it was really good. I think, like they have the episode where they have the day off and like they don't really know what to do with themselves and stuff,
Hmm.
which is kind of funny. Like they really grind hard, and after Monato's death, they kind of focus on like where they need to grow, and they grieve for a while. It kind of felt, a little slow there for a minute, but you get the training scene with the Dami Mommy teacher, which I thought was super
Yo,
funny.
yeah, dude, she was my favorite. The thieves teacher, or like whoever was it? Yeah, Steve, right? It's the thief
Yeah.
thing, bro. She was the best, bro. He got fucking lucky. He got so lucky,
Yeah, I was gonna say, dude, what a pick. I would be a fucking thief for sure.
bro. When he came home and said that, I'd be like, yo, bro, I'm gonna meet you there tomorrow.
I'll see you there. I'm compelled to sign up. Yeah, but like that was
So
cool, and
good.
like you get to see like kind of Haru trying to like grow into that leader, and he doesn't come off as like the strongest or like the biggest personality or whatever, but he does a good job of, like you said, trying to fill those shoes and do it in his own way and not be Monato. Because yeah, like for a good chunk of like the middle of the anime, like they struggle with teamwork and like they're not very cohesive and stuff. And as they get to know each other better and make like a conscious effort to like work together tactically, but also like we've said before, build those relationships, their chemistry becomes much much better.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it was definitely like a really nice build up, and it was a lot of rocky moments. You know what I mean? But like they got there in the end, and that was like so nice to see. It was like such a nice like finally, finally he found his way as a leader. Finally, him and Ranta found that like equilibrium, that balance. They finally can see eye to eye. Finally, everyone kind of works together and gels together, and you kind of it was just perfectly set up for like that season two. Then you know what I mean? Because they finally got locked in and formed
Yeah.
this team. And then of course we're not gonna have season two, so fuck you. I mean, like, what is this? One thing though, one thing I do kind of wanna bash here, Yume. Yeah, bro, Yumi's character. I hate that they made her a flirt. I really do. I feel like it ruined and like diluted some of the relationships, and also kind of like lowered her kind of character because like at first she's obsessed with Shihiro. Shihiro, I can't fucking pronounce that name, but the pink hair, purple hair girl. She kind of has a crush on her, but of course she likes Minato. So she gets upset, and you kind of like you feel bad, and she's such a great person, but then she tries to get them together. You know what I mean? Instead of being like, "Well, I want her, Minato can't have her," and then wrecks it. She like helps them, pushes them closer, and that was awesome. And then she kind of goes to the MC, and they have their moments, and you're kind of like, well, he's kind of a rebound now, but like. They have some
Yeah.
moments. Like they have some moments. Like nice, I could see them together. But then he goes, and moves on to somebody else. And then now it was kind of gearing of Yume and Ranta at the end of the season. And I'm like, bro, like
Yeah.
she's like making her rounds, trying to find love with all these characters. Like at this point, like Ranta deserves better. Like at this point, Ranta does not deserve to be a third fucking option. You know what I mean? Like why is she flirting with everybody? But then it kind of like ruins some of the moments. It's like, bro, why does she have to be such a flirt? You know what I mean? Because then it kind of just like diminishes it. Then I don't want to see her and Ranta together because like she just wants to find somebody at this point.
Yeah, like I didn't really mind Yume's time with like Horror Hero. Like kind of felt like he was doing a good job with like connecting with her, and
Yeah.
it's like a little romantic, but like you're like, all right, I could see this. Like they would work, but they don't like kind of overdo it. And then as soon as Mary like gets into the party, he spends all this time like with Mary and walking her home and stuff. It's like,
And I like
what?
him with Mary though. This is the thing. I was like, yeah, him and Mary, like fuck yeah. You know what I mean? Like
Especially after like the end of the season, like and they kill the death spots or whatever.
yeah,
Yeah, the death spots like boss or demon, whatever you want to fucking call it. Um,
yeah. I know what
that
you're
like
talking about.
dog
I know what you're talking about though, but I
wolf
don't know the name
creature.
of it. Yeah, that big
Yeah,
thing
I
where he
forget.
like he kind of like almost died killing it, and he like
Yeah, I
just
forget what they
got it.
call the creature though. But yeah, like with Mary's backstory and everything, it kind of felt like they were better together. You know, like he makes such an effort to like bring her full circle and like make her more expressive and the happy kind of person that she used to be.
Hmm.
But I didn't really like when Ronta like comes back when he gets separated. She's like, yeah, immediately like attached to him, Yume, and it was like, all right, honey, like take it easy here. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, not with your own party. Like, you tried that, but Mary stole your boy, so and your other one died. So let's take it easy here.
Like, and like the thing is, I feel bad for Yume because like you just want Yume to be happy and to find somebody. Like she is a cool character, but it's like bro, like you keep striking out with all these characters. Like at this point, like I feel bad for the people you're going for because they're just like such a last resort at this point. You know what I mean? It's kind of like I just don't even want
Yeah,
to see it. Like just give up. Like focus on you. You know what I mean? Focus on
work
your
on
on your
you,
sh- on
honey.
your accuracy with shooting, the throw knives. You know what I mean? Like it kind of like dilutes the relationship she ends up in. It's kind of like what it is. It's like that girl from Fire Force, the girl that's there purely for fan
Like
service.
the fan service, yeah.
That yeah, constantly kind of gets naked. Where it's kind of like, oh, well, you end up with her as like, bro, like everyone's seen her
Tamaki.
naked. Like, yeah, like she's kind of like flirted with everybody. It's kind of like, bro, like why do you got to make these characters? I just feel bad for everyone involved.
Yeah, like you said, it kind of deludes. Yeah, oh my god, her outfit was out of pocket too.
Hey, yo, the District
Um,
5 captain, though, fuck yeah! We
hell
always love.
yeah.
That's the right amount of fan service. And it's a mommy. Let's go!
Yeah, yeah, dude, that's too funny. She was still a solid character. Like that scene where she shoots the goblin that killed Monato, like
Mhm.
just blasts him with the arrow. That was really cool. Like, I feel like everybody does have their moments to shine, but I'm glad they didn't like go overboard with the romance stuff because that definitely would have killed it for me. But it
Yeah.
did feel like, if we were to have a season two or they were to continue this on, like there was definitely plenty of stuff to explore there.
Oh,
Um,
absolutely, yeah.
like either bring people together and have like those ships without, yeah, messing the group up too much.
See, yeah, I don't think they would even mess anything up. Like I said, I'd like Yume. I feel bad for Yume. Want her to be happy, but like writing it so she like flirts with everybody and like tries with everybody, then just makes you feel bad for the last person she's up with. Because it's like, dude, like you're like a fifth option. You know what I mean? So like, I would
Yeah.
have loved to see Yume kind of just find her own happiness. In like the relationships, they kind of have like that flirting, which like again, it kind of would have been real. Like people flirt, you know what I mean? But like no one actually was like really like dating. If anything, the MC and Mary would have ended up like together. But like you know what I mean. Everyone else is kind of
Yeah.
just kind of playing around, just kind of flirting, kind of just trying to survive at the same time. So I don't think it would have been a problem moving forward. And I actually would have liked to see more people kind of get together at that point because it's like there wasn't like too much. Like they played it well. Um, but I definitely would have loved to see them dive more into like the isekai side of it, like how they got there and stuff like that. But like yo, speaking of that day off, I love that big guy. I don't know his name, but the big dude, he's like the most slept on character in this anime. He's fucking dope. The guy that cooks, such a
Yeah,
fucking
dude,
nice
he's
dude.
he's such a G. He was giving me like Yomei vibes, like always kind of taking care of
Yeah.
everybody and like
Mhm.
defending. You know what I mean? Like the tank build. Mozugo. He was like the name I couldn't remember, but
Yeah.
he was a great character. Definitely slept on.
Bro, like, just such a nice fucking guy. He's cooking for everybody. He's just, like, so innocent and wholesome. They're like, hey, man, you know what? If you're gonna be blocking shit for us, taking some of this heat, we're gonna upgrade you some armor. And you're like, fuck yeah, our boy's being taken care of. Dude, this is, like, just such the
Yeah,
best. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like he was, like, such a slept-on character because he didn't have any ships. You know what I mean? So you only kind of saw him in combat a little bit. It wasn't, like... he really got too much attention outside of everything. But he was, like, he's that quiet character that's just kind of, like, in the background.
yeah, he like kind of yeah is more reserved, but he takes care of everybody. He's like very kind to everyone, and goes out of his way to like fill that role and be that tank. And the horror hero does a good job of like thinking like he sees him fighting that goblin, and he's like, oh, I've never even thought about his fighting style. Like we
Hmm.
should invest in his armor. If he had a helmet, he wouldn't be so worried. And then you actually get that scene, I think at the end of the episode or the next one, where they're like all shopping together for like armor and helmets and stuff for Mozago. So just stuff like that really like brings the crew together and makes you feel like you're part of that, and they do a good job of like looking out for each other. But I'm glad he got that scene because you're right, he doesn't there's not that many characters in it, but he doesn't get like a ship or anything like that. He doesn't get as much screen time as the others.
Yeah, but I mean, the moments he did get were really nice. The scenes he got were awesome. He's the absolute man.
Very
But like,
good.
speaking of like him in like combat, like dude, the combat in this anime, like the action is actually like solid. I thought it was actually really cool. I thought it was really interesting and just enticing. Despite like because like you were kind of saying, it's kind of like it felt like the animation style was a bit different, so you wouldn't think that the action scenes would be like all of that. But I thought they were really enjoyable.
Yeah, I thought they were good and they were like realistic. Like they weren't really crazy, you know what I mean? Like
Hmm.
the scenes early on where they struggle to kill and like they're shaking and stuff like that. I don't know, like it seems very relatable. Like it would be tough, you know what I mean, if you were thrust into that situation. So they do a good job of like kind of showing that, and that was one of the things I really liked. And they don't, it's not like super over the top or crazy or extravagant or whatever, but it's like also very tactical. You kind of get some of what like Haru Hiro is thinking, when he's watching other people fight, like explaining the skills and stuff. So it was definitely better than I would have expected going into it.
Yeah, I feel like the first action scene too with Ronto getting that first kill, like really kind of sums up the anime as well. How he's like at first like hyped up, 'cause he's like fuck yeah, you know what I mean? Like I'm gonna do it. This is the day I'm gonna kill this fucking thing. And then he sees it screaming for its life, and he's like, oh shit, like this thing is a living
And it's
thing.
like,
And then the
he
goblin
doesn't want to die.
yeah, and then the goblin attacks him, and then he's like gets like motivated again. He's like, "Oh fuck, the thing almost tried to kill me," and he's like, he finally goes and fucking gets it. He's like, "Yeah, fuck yeah!" And then he realizes he kills it, and just starts breaking down and starts crying, and it's like, yeah, like it's a roller coaster of emotions. It's not so black and white, not so easy. You know what I mean? It's complicated, and they did a really good job showing that complexity in there. And I thought that was really cool. And again, that kind of sums up the anime. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's the perfect way to put it. Like it's very down to earth and in a way relatable, whereas like a lot of isekais, even though they're enjoyable, aren't that. They're way more on the fantasy end. So I
Hmm.
thought that was really cool, and just the emotions with like killing, dealing with death, and kind of coming full circle like Mary's arc, and when she fights her old teammates because of that curse. Like that was really sick. That was well written, and she like conquers that part of her past. Like I was like, all right, this is definitely cooler than I would have expected. Because I was a little down on it, so it started dragging, when they were like grieving after his death and stuff. But then it really picks up in the end, ended up being very good.
Yeah. Dude, those are some awesome scenes, especially because those are the scenes that brought him and Ranta together, and it's just kind of like, yo, like fuck yeah, they finally got that bond. They trusted each other, and dude, they got that work done. I mean, dude, when the MC got that kill, dude, that was fucking sick.
Super sick with the like the lights and stuff.
Yep.
Like it made me think of like Demon Slayer in a way, kind of seeing some of the stuff that like Tanjiro does.
Yeah.
Um, and I guess Tokito did too. But that's what it made me think of. So it was like a really cool but like realistic way of him beating this monster, and not like some crazy power up or some like weapon he finds, and like it didn't like cheapen it. I thought it was really good. And, like at the end of it, like you were impressed for them. Like they've come such a long way by the end of it.
Yeah, and dude, that's why it's a shame there's just no season two. There's so much goddamn material, bro. So much.
Yeah,
Maybe they will. You know what I mean? Maybe they will. They're bringing back random shit. maybe we'll get a season 2. Although
Throw us a bone.
I don't think it would work again in this time because it's an anime you gotta binge. It's not an anime you can watch week to week, and people don't have the patience anymore. You know what I mean? So sadly, it wouldn't survive. But maybe they make a movie. You know what I mean? I don't know, man. I don't know.
We'll take it. Yeah.
We got season 1. We were blessed with that. You know what I mean? So I'm fine with that. Do you think there's anything we missed that we should go over and talk about?
I feel like it was pretty straightforward. Like they do kind of like touch on all the plot lines and like bring everything together. Um, Mary's past and like the other teammates that die with her, I thought was cool because like she can empathize with, Haru's party and kind of how everybody feels losing their priest. Like,
Mm-hmm.
It's like a perfect match for them. And then they actually go through that mine and, like free the teammates from that curse and stuff. Like I thought that was a really, really good plot line. And I was glad they like ended the season with that.
Dude, that was very like Naruto-ish when the war arc and all the dead people started coming back and like, oh, those are
Some
the
reanimation
toughest
shit.
Yeah, those were the toughest fights. So yeah, I thought that was a really nice touch. Because then she got like her closure, and it was like, yo, damn, like that was sick. Mary's a badass. I fucking loved Mary. I thought she was so sick.
She was great.
Yeah.
And like her dialogue with everybody, like in the beginning, especially with Ranta, she's always like fucking with him and like always with the better comebacks. Like she fits the party perfectly.
Bro,
and then she like
yeah.
she warms up and like she's sweeter too. Like she's a great character. I think she was probably my favorite.
Dude, she was absolutely my favorite. The way she kept Ranta humbled was just pure fucking perfection. It was so good. She was just like, you know what? You don't need to be healed. You're fine. It's just a cut.
I think it's like the third time they go out. Like they're like actively trying to like befriend her and like take an interest in her and ask her questions and stuff. And it's still like a little awkward and tense. Like the three of them are sitting and Ranta's like, all right, which one of us do you like the most? Like who's the most attractive or whatever? She's like, why do I have to pick? Like, I definitely don't. Like that shit was so funny to me. Like, of course, that's the angle he would come at, trying to like ease her into the group.
Bro, like him and Yume, they might be perfect for each other because Ranta just wants love as well.
Yeah, definitely. They would be.
Although he's just so like emotionally immature about it, where he just needs to make fun of everybody and give everyone shit. He's just to be a fucking asshole, which I actually thought was really fucking funny. The way he would just torch someone for no reason, like Ranta, you fucking piece of shit. And he's like, "Why are you coming at me?" It's like Ranta, bro.
Yeah, super defensive. But yeah, his character brings a lot to the group. Like he's kind of a knucklehead sometimes, but he's great. He's definitely like a much needed like vibe in the party.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. He's fucking sick, but I think that is it, guys. Grimgar, definitely a sleeper anime. If you have a friend getting into anime, you think they're gonna like it, yo, recommend it to them. And if you're interested in more sleeper anime, of course, we're gonna keep bringing them to you guys because we're a bunch of degenerates that watch way too much anime. And fuck it, we might as well talk about it and give you guys some good sauce. So, you can subscribe if you want. There should be a playlist where we're going to be adding to it periodically, constantly, and just talking about some really good low-key anime. Hope you guys enjoyed. Check out this anime if you haven't. And that's it. See you guys later. Peace.